Okay, we're back. All right, nice to see you again. My thoughts on astral travel, part two, or the astral plane. All right, as we move on, luckily I've got time to do this because right outside, as I expressed in the last one, it's raining. That means today, the 2nd of January 2025, I can't get away because I work outside. I'm a steel fabricator. Have done for many, many years in the house stuffing, house removal business. And many of my videos, if you go through my 700 plus videos that I have on the channel, you'll see a lot of the work I've done in the past. We also have diversified into my cooking channel, as I show you how to make schnitzels and rouladen and how to cut meat. We also tried to do some stuff on health and natural health, how do you cure yourselves from many diseases, and how easy it is to do with natural foods. Did all that. Unfortunately, a lot of the things I said, YouTube does not like, because YouTube is sponsored by Big Pharma and medical profession and all those others. And if you say anything against what they say, you're banned off the channel. So that's one of the reasons why I have never been able to get my channel off the ground, and has been very disheartening. And I've left it alone for a while because I just threw it up in the air. Said all too much to me because every time I open my mouth, I said something that YouTube did not like. Okay, you would have experienced that if you went on to Twitter before it became X. Now it's X, it's great. YouTube has become better since X exists, since Elon Musk has come into the world and allow, again, free speech. So things are becoming freer. YouTube is allowing more, although you still have to watch what you say. You can't say things about certain diseases or things about certain other products or other things that are happening around the world. You can't say certain words, or many words you can't say without getting shadow banned or defunded. So I've got to try and make sure I don't say any of those. So for those that are used to my rants and raves, where I have said a few things, and of course the videos are there, but no funding because I've said things that they don't like, so they defunded me. So now it's been over 2 years since we did any of that. Let's see if we can make things happen now that things are a little bit more free and a little bit more able to say what we want to say without getting banned. All right, but here we are, part two of my thoughts on astral plane and where we come from, how we exist, how we become who we are. The astral plane is an amazing place. So much goes on there, even though time doesn't exist. But it does. It goes on there because time does exist in the material world. And of course, our astral bodies go from the astral plane to the material world, learn so much more, and then go back. And because we go back, we've got so much more to think about, so much more thought to express, to communicate with, to become part of the hive of the, as we have all our thoughts and all our existence connected to everyone else. It's all a part, as I said, with Star Trek and the Borg being part of the main consciousness. That's what the astral world is. It's consciousness. It's where we are ultimately conscious of everything and everyone, because we're all part of the same being. We'll go back. This is where, of course, religion gets it. But, of course, they don't tell you the way it is. They only tell you the way they want you to believe it. And that's, the idea of God and the God concept is because the astral world is that area. That is the ultimate. That is where everybody is a part of everybody. Everything we want to know, everything we want to be, everything we've ever done, everything we will ever do is there. Because you've got to remember, time does not exist in the astral plane. So everything from the beginning of existence to the end of existence is there. The only hassle is that it's on different levels. So different levels of consciousness. We are human. And at this stage it's 2025. And we have a level of consciousness that is related to our planet. Our planetary consciousness. And everything we have on this planet and our planetary consciousness to our ability of being conscious is available to us in the astral plane. Of course, those who have not attained a higher level of consciousness cannot attain the information that is available to a higher level consciousness. For you to attain that, you have to start to become higher level. While you stay a drone and don't want to learn anything, you will never learn anything. Okay? It is all a part of becoming what you are able to become. Now, in the astral plane, as we want to become our next human, as we move through reincarnation, okay, this is a swear word to a lot of people, as we reincarnate, as we come back, okay, each life, whether it's the life of an amoeba, to the life of an insect, to the life of a mammal, a fish, a bird, and on into human. Each life you have lived. As you get to human, we are sort of the top on this planet. As to whether a whale is more, or a dolphin is more attuned or more advanced than we are, even I haven't got that far yet. Okay, so you cannot go backwards. You cannot go from human to insect. You cannot go from human to tree. You cannot go from human to an amoeba, because a tree doesn't have a heart. Okay, an amoeba doesn't have arms and legs. All these things we've had to learn along the way, to learn to stand. Have you ever even thought what it is to stand on this planet? We have gravity on this planet. This is a thing for another video, of course, learning about gravity. Gravity is all about mass. It's all about the ability to levitate, to be able to float, to be able to stand upright. Do you realize if every cell in your body was not helping you stand upright, you would be a jelly on the ground? Because gravity, without gravity, pushing against it, you fall to the ground. Once you attain gravity, you have your own gravity, you then are able to stand up. Because gravity is a pushing force. Yes, if you don't have gravity, it's a pulling force. But if you have gravity, it is a pushing force. So gravity, just like magnetism, okay, the first law of magnetism is also the first law of gravity. There's lots of people out there that will argue that because they don't understand gravity. They keep on thinking, oh, we go to quantum gravitational effects. How do you quantize a field? There are no particles. You do not have gravitons. Anybody who thinks there's an imaginary thing called graviton is imaginary. They have their imagination's going wild. Gravity is a field, just like an electric field. Yes, you can move particles with it. You can excite particles with the energy within that field as you induce energy into those particles, just like a wave hitting the beach. One of the explanations I have for particle physics and wave physics. Okay, if you want to understand, this is where I finally understood quantum theory. Quantum theory is all about what happens when the wave going through the ocean, strikes the beach. The wave travels, say you have an earthquake in Japan, and you have a tidal wave that starts on the east coast of Japan. That will travel all the way across to the west coast of America. Now, of course, if you are a particle somewhere in the ocean, and you are in the way of that wave, just like a boat on the ocean, the most the wave will do is push you a little bit forward, pull you a little bit back, push you up, drop you down, because that's how waves work. Okay, as the wave passes, it does no more than that. Prove it yourself. Go on a boat. Go 100, 200 metres out off the beach. Okay, sit in that boat. See how long it takes for you to get to shore. I guarantee the wave won't push you there. Okay, you'll need some sort of rose or motor or something to get back to shore. The most it'll do is pull you out as the effect of hitting the beach, and then of course the undertow, the current pulling you back out. The energy is in the wave. No particles. Yes, you have particles of water. Okay, but they only move up and down. The particle of water that was at Japan never ever got to California. Okay, because it stayed in Japan. It went up, down, back, forward, stayed there. Never went anywhere. All right, but the energy in that wave, once it strikes the beach, the amount of particles that are now in that wave are astronomical. If you've ever tried body surfing in the surf, now if you've got a place that's got a good surf, like I lived on Gold Coast here in Australia, and body surfing, when you get dumped, that is one hell of an experience, especially if it's a big wave. You get dumped, you're lucky if you get up long enough to get a breath before that takes you under again. Because it just knocks you around. A lot of people die in dumpers because you're down there too long. If it's a big wave, it can keep you down there for minutes as it stirs you in all the dirt and the mud and the sand and the shells. And it imparts so much energy into whatever it strikes. All those particles become in the field of the wave. But not because the wave has particles in it from the beginning to the end. There are no particles. They only move up and down. They're not. It's the energy of the wave that moves through the ocean or moves through space. Okay, it's not. You don't have any photons coming from the sun to Earth. Okay, it's all energy. There's no particles. If there were particles all the way through here, you wouldn't be able to see the sun. There'd be so much white light you wouldn't see it. Okay, space would be white if energy was full of particles, because you wouldn't be able to see where it came from. There'd be so many particles shining up and lighting up the whole of space. You wouldn't see the planets. You wouldn't see nothing. So there are no particles. Maybe a few pieces of dust and stuff. But and of course the only reason you see those is because the wave is inducing energy into the particles that are in that dust, which then light up, and you then experience the energy bouncing off those particles into your eyes, which then excites photons in your eyes and makes you see it. Okay, the reason why the Earth has so much colour is because the energy coming from the sun is imparted into all those particles that make up the Earth. The sky is a wonderful thing. It's full of particles, full of dust particles, weather, moisture, so many different things are in the air. And then, of course, as you go through and the energy hits the trees and hits all those particles, then ricochet and bounce off and hit your eyes. The only reason you can see them is because the energy that's hitting those items, the plants, the sky, whatever you're looking at, that energy is then conveyed through what's ricocheted. Either way, the energy hits the tree, imparts energy into the electron or into the particles that make the tree. The tree then sends out colour sends out energy that lets you know there's colour there, which hits your eyes, and then of course your eyes then show what's happening. All of this is part and parcel of optics. You can learn all about it if you want to spend years learning about optics and how we see things, or how we are able to sense things. It's all about energy and moving energy. The actual stuff there is like, it's not there. It's like that tree. Well, that tree you see, where can I point to it? There it is. That tree you see right there, okay, is a shade of green. Now, the only reason it is that green is because everybody on the planet believes it is green. If we were able to mass hypnotize everybody to believe it's purple, that tree would turn purple in a millisecond. It's all about thought and energy and how we think. Anyway, we're drifting away from the astral world, astral plane. How we come back into this world is, okay, as we die, our astral body leaves this body, or our last body, and then, of course, we want to come back into our next body. Now, our next body, of course, we're going to end up being a baby again, and whether we're male or female, that's another choice. That's something we choose. All the choices, everything we do in our life, everything, I mean every little thing in your life, you chose before you came into it. Okay? When you were born, you already had chosen who your parents are. So who your mum is, who your dad is, who you're going to meet right through life. Your brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, everybody that's going to meet you has already met you. Everybody you will ever meet, you have already met. Okay, in one lifetime or another. All right. How should I say? I indulged myself and became a Taoist. Now, in that experience, I went to some Taoist meetings, and in some of those meetings, I met a priest who came from Tibet. And, of course, he and I, unbelievably or believably, either way, we knew each other. We know each other. We're brothers. We have lived with each other before. Okay? And the only time he ever came to Australia, I was at one of the meetings. He's possibly been one or two times before since then. But I've met him 3 times in my life. And each of those 3 times was the time he came for a lecture here in Brisbane. He did not come in between those times. Those times are up to 10, 15 years apart. He only came in, or I only went to those meetings by chance. So you would think. But actually, I went to those meetings to meet with him. Okay, we only met for a few seconds, but we consciously know each other. Now, you have, when you select your life, you select everything. And I mean everything. You'd be amazed. Every little turn, every little happening, every little thing in your life that you've ever done, ever will do, you selected before you were born. It's an amazing thing to understand. It's even more amazing to experience, to actually be conscious of the fact, to actually know that that's what's happening when you meet somebody for the first time, whether it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, mother, father, a person you have been wanting to meet for decades, and then all of a sudden meet, or somebody who just happens to be there to save your life, or happens to be there to give you that little bit of information that you need right at that specific time to be able to do what you're going to do that day. You'd be amazed. All those things you set into place before you were born. A way to understand the truth in that is deja vu. For those who haven't experienced deja vu, which is almost impossible. Here we go again. Sorry about this, guys. I forgot to play with the mouse again. And I have to get my password in. Hard for me to keep talking when I can't even see what I'm talking to. It's just a blank screen. It's all because I didn't move the mouse or do something without activity. The thing shuts down. You'd think just having the video on would do that, but it doesn't. It's like when you walk away from the computer, it shuts down by itself because you've allowed a certain amount of time on the in the instructions on the computer to shut down after 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever. It does that even when I'm recording, amazingly enough. Anyway, all the things you ever chose, you did. Confirmation of that is when you're lost. Have you ever felt lost? You don't understand, you know, you're sitting back. I've done it many times where I'm feeling a bit disheartened and I think I've lost the plot. I've lost my path, where I am. I'm going through so much shit and so much other stuff in my life, or having so much other fun, whatever. All depends on what you're doing. But I feel that I'm not on my path, or I don't know whether I'm on the right track. What happens is, at certain times in your life, depending on how high a frequency you're operating at, if you're in the material world and you're working with your hands and fingers, doing carpentry or housework, whatever, very material, very low frequency work. If you're getting colds and all that sort of stuff, you're getting infections, that's because you're operating at a very low frequency. The higher the frequency, the harder it is to get sick. Okay, the higher the frequency, the more often you will have deja vu. Deja vu is where it's where your astral self confirms that you are exactly where you're supposed to be at that particular instant in time, because it shows you what you already selected. It shows you that instant in time that you're going through and you just say, oh, I've been here before. It's because you have. You selected this before you were born. All of it. What you look like, everything that's happening around you, all of it. You took a shot. Because remember, time doesn't... This is where it all gets confusing. Time does not exist on the astral plane. Okay? So that means you can go back... if you ever watched the movie Interstellar, that's got a good explanation on this one, where you can go back through all your days, all your experiences, everything you've ever done, everything you're ever going to do, and you can go pick a page or pick a room to move into. That is deja vu. It's where you are, your spirit, astral body, your thoughts are actually acknowledging that you are exactly where you're supposed to be at that particular instant in time. Okay, but to understand that, you need somebody to teach you about how deja vu works. Now, the only reason I learnt all this is because when I was in the space industry, when I stuck my nose in the space industry and got to the top and met everybody there was in the Australian space industry in '96, I was experiencing deja vu because the frequency I was operating at was so high. I only needed 1 hour sleep midday and 1 hour sleep midnight to keep functioning. I wish I could do that now. It was so exciting, the level of energy I had. And for a guy of my size and my physical abilities, in '96, which made me, 30? Yeah, 35. You have no idea what it's, unless you're built like Arnold Schwarzenegger and you're able to move the stuff that you see him do on movies. Okay, the stuff that he could do in the gym. What you can do in the gym, what you can do in real life are two different things, of course, because it's a different way of lifting if you're going out to work in the steel industry, as I proved to quite a few people who were so-called gym addicts and thought they were built like, well, one of them was built very much like Arnold Schwarzenegger and looked very much, physically was very much like him, but he thought he could lift so much. But when he started in the steel industry, he learned a lot about lifting. It's a whole different ballgame when you actually have to do it for real, not just pump it in the gym. So, yeah, deja vu, as it shows you there. I was doing it every 5 minutes I had deja vu when I was there in the space industry in '96, because the level of the frequency I was operating at, the level of energy, as we worked right through 24/7, except for the 2 hours, 1 hour, 1 hour, midnight, 1 midday, where I was sleeping. But I had a team of people that were working with me, all volunteers, and we had a great time. The stuff we saw. And that's when I went to the Theosophical Society and went to many places to confirm what I was doing. When I talked to many scientists in universities, whether it was MIT or QUT, and I talked to people right around the world. Everybody I ever wanted to meet, in most cases, came to me. I have virtually never left Brisbane. Okay, I've travelled around Queensland. I've had a trip down to Melbourne. I've had a trip to Sydney, but I've never actually lived anywhere else in the world except here in Queensland, but mostly here in Brisbane. And I met amazing people from all over the world, and I've talked to even more on the telephone. And in those days when I was in '96, you try and find a computer in '96, okay, and even harder to find somebody who had access to the internet in '96, okay, it virtually didn't exist. Everything I learned, everything I did through contact over the telephone in most cases, through chasing it through books. And again, this is where I'm dyslexic. I don't read. Yet, through synchronicity and being conscious, I can grab a book and flick to a page and get the information I want anytime. Have you ever gone through a bookstore looking for a book and you don't know what you're looking for, but all of a sudden that spine of that book or that little picture or whatever will stare at you like a sore thumb. Say, aha, there's the book I'm after. Okay, it just comes to you. And then, of course, when you open that book in front of you, it will open to the page you're looking for. It is amazing how things work once you start getting into synchronicity and once you start getting to understand how your conscious self works. This is where you get into Deepak Chopra and all those other things. One of the books I did read, which is a very good book, was now tongue-tied. Can't, when you think about it, but you can't come up with it. It's on the tip of your tongue, but you can't say it. 10th Insight, the one before that. But yeah, unbelievable how things work once you start reading certain books, and how books on consciousness and on reality, on the esoteric reality of life, how those things happen and how you get in contact with that. It is amazing. So if you get into understanding of consciousness and start reading, you can learn so much. Or, like me, be in touch with the astral world, astral plane, and be able to get the information you want every time you go to sleep, or even during the day through contact. Amazingly enough, it happens. Many people have to meditate to learn meditation to do it. I meditate while I'm working. I find it very relaxing. Manual work, building things, very easy for me, and is very, very relaxing. And I can meditate while doing it because it's just that. Just that easy. Anyway, deja vu is all about acknowledging that you are exactly where you're supposed to be at your particular instant in time in your life at that particular instant. That all comes through from what you chose before you were born in the astral plane. All right? we will leave it at that. We're coming up on 30 minutes. It's amazing how time flies. Time keeps on keeping on. And it just moves. It moves so fast, but yet sometimes moves so slow. And I've had periods of my life where things happen so fast, I couldn't keep track of them. And yet, years where it happens so slow, I was wondering, what the hell? Why am I here? Anyway, thanks for being here. I hope I've given you some sort of insight or some help in some way, or that what I'm saying is interesting enough to keep you here. And that's the end of part 2, and we'll move on to part 3. If it keeps on raining, I might even do it today. All right? Thank you very much. Again, check out some of my other videos. It'd be very much appreciated as we try and build this channel. This year is the year to build my YouTube channel. Okay? And we're starting the second video for the year. The third video for the year, actually. And, yeah, looking forward to talking to you guys. Make a comment. Tell me what you think. You think I'm an asshole? Great, put it down there. I don't care. I don't care about your language. I don't care what you want to do, how you want to say it. Please, let me know what you think, as I'd love to respond and be able to help others understand more about reality and how things really work in this universe. Love you guys. Talk soon. Bye.